Hi, it's Ruth Kudzi, founder of Optimus Coach Academy and Ruth Kudzi Coaching Limited. I am passionate about helping people live the lives they want to live on their terms through supporting people to train and develop as coaches and supporting people in my coaching business to build and grow their businesses. So it's a bit of a different episode today. I am with Mr. Christian Kudzi, my husband, who is also our marketing director, and we're going to talk about what it's been like working together and sharing a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm going to get Christian to introduce himself and talk a little bit about his background first. Over to you, Christian.
Hi. Yes, so my background, I started my career in advertising, where I worked for roughly around 10 years in full service creative ad agencies. So, creating brand campaigns that appeared on TV, in the posters, press, cinema, radio. So, developing brand campaigns for blue chip clients like Waitrose, Compact Computers, BMI Airlines, where they would have different objectives, whether that be build brand awareness, drive sales, build customer loyalty, build longer lasting relationships. But my core start to my career was in advertising. And then after those 10 or so years, I went client side and worked for KPMG in their marketing team, where I had various branding projects, one of which was to rebuild their corporate website, which was a great project. And then I've worked for a couple of startups, basically taking a department from 0 to 10 people. And then latterly I've been focused primarily on digital lead generation and customer acquisition, primarily in the financial services section. So that's a bit about my background in relation to the experience that I've now generated and bringing to Optimus Coach Academy.
And thank you. So obviously you've got big experience in marketing, from advertising to digital, working with a whole variety of businesses from startups to blue chip. And I know that I've had online businesses for over 6 years now. And during that time, we had lots of conversations. And I've definitely had mentors who said things like, why don't you bring Christian into the business? It would make sense if Christian was in the business. And we definitely, over those 6 years, had quite a few conversations about it, didn't we?
No, definitely. And I'd like to think I would give you advice along the way. But in terms of actually coming to work with you for Optimus Coach Academy, I think the timing never seemed quite right until you started to speak around bringing your marketing in-house.
Yeah.
And wanting to own the social media strategy, wanting to have a clear customer acquisition strategy. So then at that point, yes, it became more meaningful, and it made sense why recruit someone else when you've got somebody in the building that's got all the skills that you require to take Optimus to the next level. And also I think on a personal level, I was looking for a new challenge. As I said, the 6-7 years prior to this role, I had been working in financial services, totally different sector, different objectives. So it was time for a change. And to have that opportunity to have a bit more flexibility in my working life, to have a balance between work and the personal life. So it just felt the right time to make that move.
And I remember when you said to me, actually, I've left. I've made the decision. I'm going to come and work with you. And what I really liked is that had come from you, because we've been talking about it, but I think it was just the right time. So you officially started us in October 2021. So we're about 6 months in. And during that time as well, we have been transitioning from living in one area to moving to a different area, and obviously moving into a new house. So there's been a lot going on for us personally as well. But what would you say about those last 6 months? How have you found it being an Optimus and working with me?
Well, where do I start? It's been really interesting because I think I've learned a lot about myself in those last 6 months. I think we've learned a lot about ourselves, both professionally but also out of work. It's been really, really interesting to understand what you do, to see how good you really are, and I've been inspired actually and motivated by your work ethic and your command of what you do. But I guess from my personal perspective, it's been really interesting because I've learnt about myself, so the self-awareness, in terms of me as a person, both in and out of work. I've learned techniques associated with coaching that I've then brought into my own life. I've been learning new methods, so this idea of having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, I found that very interesting and fascinating. What else? Limiting beliefs and how actually you can configure your brain to think differently, and that opens up opportunities that I never thought of. So I'm learning how my brain works, and in that respect, totally fascinating. I think also what's of interest from a marketing point of view is the knowledge that it takes time to take somebody from this point in their journey to the point where they believe they're ready to train as a coach. So previously, when I've been acquiring customers, generating leads, that journey is a lot shorter, a lot quicker, whereas in this new sector that I find myself, we're needing to employ a lot more strategy around how do we nurture this person who's interested in becoming potentially a coach, because we have to understand it's not day zero to day one that all of a sudden they're ready to train as a coach. So it's been interesting working on different strategies, content pillars, methods to deliver value, so that when they are at that point, they've at least come on a journey with us as a brand. So going back to my advertising days and thinking behind how do you build loyalty? How do you get them to know the brand, to like the brand, to trust the brand? All of those techniques I'm using to get a strategy for Optimus that works and is effective.
And we've also got some exciting new things coming out as well, which I think have come from you, like the Personal Development Hub.
Yes, I think there's a lot of people out there, especially with what's been going on recently, that are thinking about themselves around how can they be a better version of themselves. What skills, techniques can they themselves learn to grow? So it's a big opportunity, I think, for us at Optimus, because everything from habit tracking, journaling, mindset, as I said. So yeah, we're developing content, an app whereby people that are not thinking about training as a coach but are just thinking about themselves will be able to have content that the business will be able to provide them access to the coaches that we have in the business and in our network who are excellent in what they know and their knowledge, and they can tap into that. So that's an exciting development. We're also about to launch our new website. I think previously the website for Optimus Coach Academy was there, but we weren't driving too many people to the site, whereas now the core strategy will be, let's get as many people on the site, let's get as many people listening to our podcasts, reading our blogs, watching our videos, just for them to, again, start learning about who we are, what makes Optimus difference, our excellence. All of that will add to the credibility of the brand, which is very important, because the coach training sector is competitive, so we need to find ways to stand out quicker. We need to back that up with knowledge and expertise. So the best way to do that is to get our prospects reading about what we're doing, how we're doing it, listening to our testimonials. So yes, the website will be the core part of our strategy to drive that awareness up for the brand. So that's very exciting.
So lots of the stuff there about work and all of the great things that we've got planned, and I know that part of that is about the team that you've brought on as well, who have been really key in helping us drive that forward. Let's get to the bit that I know lots of people be wanting to find out about, but actually working together, living together, it's not always been easy, has it?
No. I think with both of us working from home, with both of us working for the same business, with both of us working in a smaller environment because of, as you mentioned, the move to our new house taking a bit of time. It's
a year.
It's put a lot of pressure on what we do and us as a family. I think looking back over the last 6 months, I think one of the things I perhaps would do differently is to have created a workspace for me, maybe outside of the flat, so that when I would come back to the flat, it's clearly, family time, personal time, because clearly if you're living and working in the same space with your wife who works for the same business, it can be quite...
But I think that's one thing we've definitely learnt, haven't we? That those boundaries, and like it can sometimes be, you're out for lunch and then you're talking about work. So we've had to learn to be a lot more boundaried with when it's work, when it's not work, because otherwise it can just become all consuming. And I think we've definitely sometimes gone down the wrong path with that, haven't we?
Yes, you need to be able to switch off.
Yeah.
And to talk about other things. And yes, you're right, those boundaries are important.
I think we're both excited, and by the time this podcast comes out, we will be in our new house where we've both got our own separate offices, and we're building a garden office, and then obviously you've started to go out and meet the team and things as well, which just it creates those boundaries, like being able to shut the door, which we haven't been able to, just because of the joys of moving house. But I think it's been like an intense lesson, but a great lesson for both of us. I think there's also been positives, haven't there? Because never in the last, since we've had the girls, we haven't ever been away for more than, I don't think, a week, have we, as a family?
No, that's right. And so having that opportunity to take a 2-week holiday, albeit you're still doing a little bit of work, but that opportunity to take more than a week away with the family, I haven't had that for the time we've had our family. So that's been great, and that flexibility and allowing yourself to be around the people that you enjoy being around without thinking about work all the time.
Yeah, and I think I can definitely see that it's so much like you have more time, so you've got more time for the kids and for us than probably you had before. I think as well, one of the things that, obviously we talked about the challenges, and there's definitely like boundaries, relationship, like just making sure like what is work and what isn't work. And I wouldn't say that we're there yet, but we're definitely getting closer to being there, having gone through it. But also I think it's, for me, knowing that you're managing marketing, because it is effectively now a family business, it makes me, I feel more confident that because you know me better than anyone else in the business. Obviously, you're married to me, we've been together for quite a long time. So that gives me, I know that, I trust you to make decisions, and I know that this being a success is as important for you as it is for me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's a family business, so even more so now, we want it to be a success. We're both working hard, making sacrifices, so we both want to get it right up there, which I believe it will.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there.
I think we both care. It's in our personality to always want to do the best that we possibly can in whatever way or whatever task we're working on. So I think that's been, or is a good plus point, me coming into the business. We've got different strengths.
Definitely.
I'm more analytical in terms of wanting to look at data to really understand any patterns or any insight, to then really know what the next step should be. You're more not spontaneous, but you're more instinctive, I guess, in terms of not always needing to have the data to back up your thought process or your decision making. So I think that complements us well, because sometimes I need to work quicker, act faster.
And
sometimes you need to slow down
100%.
and actually let whatever we're doing bed in before making the next decision, because it could be too quick or too early to make those decisions.
Yeah, and I think it's understanding our preferences. So yeah, I'm more intuitive, I'm more of a like, let's go, whereas you're like, slow down. And actually what's great about that is we balance each other out. But sometimes it is that, you know, that when we're making decisions, we have to give each other the space to make a decision and the respect to make a decision in that way. So I'm going to go back to, it was actually August. I remember it was August 2021 when you made that decision. If you went back to you now, knowing what you do, what would you say to yourself then when you were thinking about coming into the business?
I would say be prepared to have quite a steep learning curve about a sector that moves very quickly. Have an expectation that you're going to have to learn a lot of new things. Some of them quite difficult to grasp. There's a bit of coaching jargon that you need to get over, acronyms. But also I think, going back to the point I made before, understand that your ideal client, your target market, need to come on a journey with you. Don't expect your ideal client to buy from you immediately or relatively quickly. No, you need to have a strategy in place that is robust enough and diverse enough to keep that prospect warm, nurture that relationship, so that when they're ready to maybe consider training as a coach, you're ready to position your proposition so that you're not pushing that proposition too early in that person's journey. So it's the customer journey that I'm learning about in a different way in this sector.
What about personally? What would you say to yourself then about joining?
In terms of?
Yeah, what advice would you give to yourself if you're going back to August 2021 about joining the business?
Come and join, have lots of fun, and understand that you're doing this for a reason, as in, you know, the family benefits that we've spoken about, but also, you know, to work with Ruth and to learn from Ruth.
Cool. Thank you. Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode with Christian. Slightly different. You know, maybe when we've got our boundaries completely sorted, we can do a follow-up episode to say how to make boundaries really work when you're working together. We've got through it over the last 6 months, and I think we've definitely got better, but there's always learning. So if you want to find out a bit more about what we do at Optimus, come and check out the Optimus website. Or if you want to see some of those things that Christian was talking about the Personal Development Hub, that's all also in the show notes. If you are thinking that you might want to become a coach, check out our quiz and it will tell you if you've got the qualities to be a great coach. Have a look in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd like you to like and subscribe. And remember to keep abreast of all of our new videos. Just ring that bell and you'll be notified when any new ones come out. And we'd love to hear feedback from you. So if you'd like to post beneath your biggest takeaway, and equally anything that you'd like to hear me talk about, we're always open to feedback.